Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca. I am so excited to have you here. I'm honored that you even decided to click on this video. Just as you see by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about how to create a peaceful home for your family. I have my husband of 8 years. No, I think we're going to be 9 years this year. And we have two beautiful toddler boys. One is 1 and the other one is 3. Let's get right to it. So, as I was doing research for this video, before that, I had my own experiences that led me to this, and I discovered that one of the first things you got to do to have a peaceful home is to reduce clutter. I know this is such a very obvious thing to do. We are at about 25% on our way to reduce the clutter in our home. There were so many things around. If you can't do your whole house because it's a lot, let's start by one room. Let's start small. Let's start with the easier room. And let's build from there. Take a basket, start filling it up with things that you don't believe you need, things that you won't use for the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. If there's things that you tell yourself, I might use this soon, set it aside. Give it 3 months until you can decide, you know what, I didn't use it in the last 3 months. We can get rid of it. Do you really need more clutter? And I know that sometimes we have such sentimental value towards things, but the truth is that sometimes even those things tend to be a little bit too much clutter in our home. So that was the first thing we did. We started to declutter, and we are not done. We have so much more decluttering to do. But I'll tell you guys, when we started to do it, we saw the difference. Our home was becoming so much more quiet. There was so much less stimulation. There was also so much less noise. It was so awesome and continues to be. And we continue to declutter. We continue to donate a lot of things. We continue to throw out a lot of things. We haven't really sold anything just because we just want to get rid of things. And the fastest way to do that is to donate. I think the important thing here is not the monetary value, it's going to be the mental freedom that you're going to experience by decluttering your home. And so, with that, I want to go into number 2, having a clean home. How do you do this with toddlers? It's a really good question. Guys, I am not an expert on this topic, but I do feel that I am not the only mom that experiences this. So the truth is, my home is never 100% clean. It's never 90% clean. It's probably never 80% clean. But we do try to do a reset every single night. Before we go to bed, my husband and I take some time to just clean a couple of areas in our home. Probably the most important part to us is the kitchen, the family room, and the playroom. So we make sure that all these 3 areas are usually always clean. We wipe down the counters, we put food away, we make sure that things are not overcrowding the counters, we make sure that the pillows are fluffed. Little details in the end make a huge difference. We make sure the kids' toys are put away. They do their part, but we have to help them too. This helps us to reset for the next day. The next morning we wake up and it's time to go. Why? Because our home is ready for the chaos that's going to happen. So I keep on saying chaos, but in reality, guys, it's not chaos. It's just the day-to-day stuff with toddlers. It's normal. There's a lot of activity. So my next point is comfortable furniture. Why do I say this? We make sure that everything in our house is comfortable, especially with toddlers. You don't want to be worrying about, oh man, he spilled some milk over there and now it's gonna leave a stain. If it leaves a stain, it is what it is. We try to remove as much as we can, but many times toddlers are messy. They leave stains, they leave stuff around. I don't know if it happened to you, but it happened to me where I was growing up in a very Hispanic home. And my mom, I don't know if this is a Hispanic thing. I'm pretty sure it's not, but it was for me in my house. My mom had our furniture wrapped in plastic. The couches were wrapped in plastic. The love seats were wrapped in plastic. Everything was wrapped in plastic to preserve its, I don't really know what it was, but it was to preserve something. Either way, It was very uncomfortable. She wanted to prevent us from tearing into it or wasting the fabric, which I totally understand. It was her house. But when it came to me having my house, I made sure that all the furniture I would incorporate into the house was livable. We had everything that was comfortable. If it's a couch, you can have nice long naps in it. If it's a blanket, you make sure that it's a nice texture and it covers you well and it's not too short, it's not too big for the couch. All these things that are probably small details that seem insignificant, they make a difference. And so I invite you to have furniture that is comfortable. Next one is probably one of my favorite ones is to have nice, warm music playing throughout the house. So one thing that you're always going to hear in our home is the Cars soundtrack from movie 1, 2, and 3. My son absolutely loves them, and we know them. We know when he wants to play Shaboom. He loves Real Gone, and just every song you can think of from those movies, he knows them, and he loves playing. But at the end of the day, it's time to unwind. So I'll play some classical music, especially classical piano. I love classical piano. My husband is a pianist, so it's just something that I love to hear throughout our home. I also like to play jazz before eating. Whatever it is that just calms your home, that's what I invite you to start playing. After a very long day, it can just change your mood, it can change your attitude. And sometimes we listen to Christian instrumental music. We're Christian, so even instrumentally, we know them. And sure, we love to have our dance parties, and especially at Christmas time, we love to play all things Christmas. But there are times where we just need a little bit of calm and peace, and that's what we do. The last thing that we do is we incorporate scents into our home. There's so many ways that you can do this. You can light a candle, you can get some essential oils going, you can turn on, I don't know, an air wick, or you can just spray some room refreshener. The way we do it is we like to turn on the essential oil diffuser, and especially at the end of the day, just because it gives a nice little scent to the house that it just, I don't know, I feel like it grounds us. And the reason why we use essential oils versus other things is because my husband and now my son, we have a lot of allergies going on, especially this season. Oh my gosh, guys, there are so many allergies during the season. I don't know what's going on, but it's nuts. So the essential oils, I've noticed, is not something that brings up a reaction in them. So I like to use that. And if you stayed this long, I want to thank you so much for just joining me.
Hello, this is Rebecca. I'm so sorry for the audio in this next part, but I hope you're able to stick around because I think it's the most important part of this whole video.
I guess the way I want to close this is just letting you know why we even decided to do this change. So maybe you're sitting there watching me thinking, that's great. That's really nice. All the things that you mentioned, right? That's going to bring peace into my home. And I was exactly where you are right now. Months ago, I would say back in October, my husband and I found ourselves in this situation where we were just feeling so overwhelmed by things around us, especially when we would come home in a place where we always felt so at peace and a place where we rest. Granted, there was a lot of transitions. I was changing job. We had my toddler, my oldest, who was still a toddler, and our baby, who is turning 1. And there's just a lot going on. We had this major loss in my family that changed the dynamic in our household. So there was a lot of noise. There was just so much noise. And I don't mean physical noise, it was just mentally, it was just so noisy. And I remember I sat down one day and I was talking to God and I was like, Lord, what do we do? I don't feel good. I feel very overwhelmed and just mentally charged. And I remember that I felt great to just vent, but I wanted actual actions to be taken. Now I see how God did really intervene and He allowed me to see things the way that He was seeing them. So maybe you don't reduce the clutter today, but you'd start to incorporate a lot of the other things, or maybe what I mentioned doesn't apply to you, but there are certain things that make you feel at peace at home. Start incorporating those things. Start to sit down and read a book. Maybe that's what you want to do. And way that I know that this is not lasting peace is because in Isaiah 32, verse 18, it says, My people will live in safety, quietly at home. They will be at rest. We know that Jesus is peace. We know that He is the Prince of Peace. And there is no way that you can have actual peace if it's not through Him. And so, one thing I know for a fact is that our home is going to continue to be a peaceful home because not only the things that we incorporated, not only the things that we changed, but because of Jesus. And if you decide to do just one thing in this video, let me know how it goes for you. I hope I encouraged you to just bring more peace into your home and bring more rest into your home. And I hope that this video is a blessing to you. And if it was, I hope that you can like and subscribe to this channel. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.